Class of whoop. Class of 22. If you any members in here, they ready to take your pictures? Class of 22, if any of you are in here, they're ready to take your pictures, just walk across the balcony. Thank you. I don't have to what? Oh, okay. If there are any inductees in the room, you need to get over for the group picture. Inductees need to get over for the group picture. Thank you.
Hey, hey. Check, check. Hey, check, check. Check, check. Hey, check, check. Yeah, check. Check.
Okay, if we can start bringing people inside, we're going to get ready to go in about 5 minutes. Hear me in the back okay? Good? Thank you. Okay, we're going to start in about a minute. Okay, can I ask everybody to be seated, please? Could I ask everyone to sit down so we can get started, please? Thank you. How about now? Better? There's only so much he can do. Pardon me?
Hey, folks, we can't turn it up any more than this because there's a hard limiter that's built into the system in here. So once everybody settles down, you should be able to hear. You could probably hear me okay now, right? Barely. If I turn it up, it just distorts more. So I'm doing my best over there. I just want to let you guys know what's going on.
Okay, we're ready to go. Welcome, everybody. Good evening. You're here for the number 13 Oroville Union High School District Hall of Fame induction dinner. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight we're here, we will induct 9 alumni and 1 employee. The Hall of Fame is the highest honor that the Oroville Union High School District can bestow on anyone. This past year, we lost some of our members. Michelle Kahn, Clyde Berry, Jack Brereton, and Leroy Gill. If we have just a moment of silence, please. Thank you. We always start off by introducing our members. And just stand when I call your name, please. Doug Kalin, class of 2009. Doug Kalin and Scott Johnson and Judy Buzza here representing their father, John Johnson. Class of 2011. You can clap when we finish each class. That'll work fine. Class of 2011, Dean Ando. Bill Gilbert representing his uncle, Jack Andrews. Judy McInturf representing her husband, Hack McInturf. Mike Ramsey, Dr. John Rivers, class of 2011. Class of 2012, Paula Filippi and her brother Don, representing their father Joe Filippi and their sister Dr. Nancy Russo. Dan Wilson representing his father Bill Wilson. I don't see anybody standing. Frank O'Neill, our oldest living member, way in the back. Class of 2013, Myron Openshaw. Class of 2014, Sandy Rockwell Becker. Class of 2014, class of 2015, David Frank, Candace Grubbs. Class of 2016, Sonny Brandt, Carol George Johnson, Barbara Little, Dr. Clifford Thompson. Class of 2018, Jerry Johnson. Class of 2021, Kevin Brown, representing his father, Tommy Brown. Al Hottinger. I know he's here. And Gail Woodson, representing her nephew, Benny Woodson. And now, just a couple little things to intercede here. Carol George Johnson, unfortunately, could not make it when she was inducted. She's the Oroville High class of 55, is going to come forward and just give a few remarks that she was unable to give by not being here. Carol? If I'd have known your way back there, I'd have given you a warning.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the Hall of Fame committee for Stand up, that's right, give me a chair. For the Hall of Fame committee for acknowledging me for Hall of Famer, as I was inducted in 2016 and was able to make it here. I would like to pay tribute to all of my teachers who taught me over the years in Oroville school system, who had made me the person that I have become. I would like to recognize my family back at table 22 in the back. Not just them, but my entire family that is involved. They've been unwaveringly supportive of me in all of my endeavors. Many of you probably remember my mother and my father, Al and Virginia George, who drove school bus. They drove for 27 years in the 50s, 60s, and early 70s. They had a family of 5 girls. All 5 girls graduated from Oroville High School. Their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren, graduated from either Oroville High or Las Plumas. As 1955, I graduated from Oroville High School. I went to Chico State, and I came back to Oroville High School to teach. That was quite an honor. That was my first teaching position. So our family is entrenched deeply into the Oroville Unified School District. I would like to, at this time, is Sally Childs, my classmate, Sally Childs Walker Lade. She's not here? What? Oh, okay. I wanted to congratulate her because I believe herself and her son were the only mother-son duo that's been inducted to the Hall of Fame. Yes, so I wanted to congratulate her. In addition to that, in closing, I would like to congratulate all of the current Hall of Fame members and those of you who are in attendance and have supported the Hall of Famers in their professions and their choices to lead in their life. Congratulations to you. I hope the rest of the evening is great for all of you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. I thank you, Carol. And now we got a little special one-time thing here that's never happened before. Frank O'Neill, I introduced as our oldest living member. Frank, Barbara. On November 12th, Frank, a World War II veteran and longtime counselor at Oroville High, on November 12th, Frank will celebrate his 100th birthday. So Frank, we don't have a cake with 100 candles on it, but Feather Falls made a special cupcake with 1 candle on it, and that candle represents 1 year for each of your absolutely wonderful life and friendship to so many people. Your counselor who worked with you for years, who you mentored, Barbara Little, is on her way back to you with the cupcake. So Frank, happy 100th birthday. Okay, continuing with introductions from Oroville Union High School District, Dr. Corey Willenberg, our superintendent, and Assistant Superintendent and Chief Business Officer Susan Watts. And Trustee Bonnie King. Not here. And also want to announce our scholarship winners this year. This year we were able to award 2 scholarships to students in each of the 3 schools. From Las Plumas High School, they $1,500 apiece. From Las Plumas High School, Alia Bruce and Abigail Wilburn. From Oroville High School, Chelsea Kelly and Kaylee Olson. And from Prospect High School, Skylar Martinez. And there's one other person, and Caesar Miranda. 6 scholarship winners. And now, our superintendent, Corey Willenberg.
Good evening. It's good to see so many faces here. I want to first thank Ray and the committee for putting this together. if you add up and you average 10 honorees a year, that's about 130 honorees, Hall of Famers that we have, and that is fantastic. When we first started this, the committee was going, do we honor athletes or do we honor community members and people that have contributed to the community? And one of the members, I remember saying, if you do athletes, you'll be done in 5 years, because she was part of a Hall of Fame committee that only honored athletes. And I think I try to get my staff and our kids to read the biographies. They're on the website, ouhsd.org. You can read every biography. And if you look at even the 9 tonight, you guys have done fabulous things. And it's an honor to watch you get inducted this evening. So thank you for coming. We're glad that we can host the Hall of Fame. I know it's a little tight, but it's going to be fine. So thank you and have a good evening.
Many thanks, Corey. And now the Hall of Fame committee last year wanted me to give a little history, because every year we get different groups. There's a lot of people here tonight that come every year, and many of you are here for the first time. So just a brief history. The Oroville Hall of Fame is unique, as it is not limited to sports and open to anyone who meets the established criteria. Dave Bruce, a 20-year trustee and a 2015 Hall of Fame inductee, brought up the idea after visiting both school campuses, all 3 school campuses, and randomly asking students if they knew any alumni who had highly successful lives. The only answer he heard was no, and that encouraged him to pursue the idea of a Hall of Fame. Dave shared the idea with then Las Plumas teacher, and many of you remember, coach and 2012 Hall of Fame inductee, the late Joe High, and they were sitting together at a softball game, and Dave ran the idea by Joe, and Joe loved it. And so with Dave's encouragement, the Board of Trustees on April of 2008 adopted the Hall of Fame. The first class was inducted in September 2009 at the Las Plumas High School cafeteria, where the event was held for 2 years with fewer than 100 people in attendance each year. No funding of any kind. After the 2011 dinner, which was held here, I was outside getting my dessert, and Dean Ando, who's in the back, class of 57, and in that class, says, how do you guys survive? Do you have any money? And I said, no, we don't have anything. He says, you got to start a fundraising program. And thanks to Dean, we're here today and doing lots of things that we could never do with no money. Gold Country Casino hosted us for the next 7 years, where attendance always exceeded 220. And Gold Country was unable to host us the past 2 years. Thankfully, Feather Falls is hosting us again tonight. In 2015, we established a Hall of Fame scholarship program and named it in honor of Dave Bruce, as it was his dream for the Hall of Fame. The scholarships are open to every OUHSD student. We started small, awarding $1,500 to students that first year, a total of $1,500. This last spring, we awarded $9,000 to 6 students, every single penny donated by the community, members, and people like you. We have another high-quality raffle tonight with all local items donated by local businesses and citizens. All proceeds go to the scholarship fund. Each year, Lonnie Frederick, class of 58, she's made a quilt every year. We thank you, Lonnie. They're beautiful. It's hanging out there for everybody to see. Committee members will be circulating around the room and have been selling raffle tickets before. The state constitution does not allow school districts to fund programs like the Hall of Fame. Our Hall of Fame operates solely from contributions from individuals like yourselves, members, and business sponsors who have been most generous for all these years. Our donors are listed on your program and on the placemats, and our warmest thanks to each of them. They and you are our lifeblood. Our thanks to all who attend our annual event, and an extra thanks to those who help keep the Hall of Fame and our scholarship program alive and well. We thank you. And now it's time for dinner. And according to the Feather Falls policy, we have a couple of committee members who will dismiss you, and they will start from here. They'd like to start here and go back. The food, the buffet is outside. So when your table's dismissed, you will go out whatever door they tell you to and get your food and enjoy. And we'll be back here at 7 o'clock to start inductions. Thank you. Enjoy your dinner.
check, check. Hey, hey. Hey, if you. Hey, hey. Checked. Hey, if you were looking for horseradish, anybody looking for Hey, hey, if you were waiting for horseradish, raise your hand. Check, check. Yeah, test, test. He. Check, check. Yeah, check, check, hey.
Okay, it's 5 minutes to 7, and we're going to start. Ask everybody to sit down, please. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you. Okay, it's time to do the formal part of the evening, and we'll do our honorees. The order that we will induct people is in your program. We've changed things a little bit, and we're going to intersperse the raffle in between, so that'll kind of make things a little bit different. One big request. Inductees, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, please. And so we don't forget, the first person we inducted last year, Liz Bellier, came up, and she stands and she pulls out and she says, "Siri, tell me when 5 minutes is up." So, anyway, Nancy has a timer, and we're going to keep the timer because I got accused earlier this evening of program being too long, and I said, no, it's never too long. Okay, number 1, Brian Zalner. Brian graduated from Las Plumas High School in 1980 and was an outstanding 3-sport athlete, playing football, basketball, baseball, all 4 years. Football, he earned the Coach's Award as a senior, Player of the Week, and starting quarterback as a sophomore, junior, and senior. As a junior and senior, he earned all-league honors in baseball and team captain as a senior, as well as being named Most Valuable Player. His junior year saw him pitching a no-hitter. He was a 4-year member of Block LPHS. Outside of school, Brian mowed lawns and worked at Damon's Athletics. Following graduation, Brian played 2 years of American Legion baseball, was scouted by the Vancouver Canadians, a AAA team for the Milwaukee Brewers. He then spent 4 years attending community colleges. Brian's firefighting career began in 1981 when he was a seasonal fighter for the California Department of Forestry. Next was firefighting in the city of Oroville, Yuba City Fire Departments, and Fig Garden in Fresno County. Over the years, he worked his way up to Chief of Operations. While in Riverside, California in 1995, Brian violated all standard operating procedures and departmental policies when he crawled through the tiny window to enter a burning house and save the life of a 2-year-old boy who was not breathing when he was found. The boy was critical but in stable condition in the hospital, and thanks to Brian, he lived. Tragically, at age 44, Brian lost his life when his fire vehicle hit a patch of ice on State Route 44 in Lassen County. Then Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger ordered flags at the Capitol and all CAL FIRE facilities to be flown at half-staff. The governor personally attended Brian's memorial and stated, "Each day, California firefighters put their lives on the line, assisting and protecting our citizens. Chief Zalner gallantly served our state with courage and skill." In 1998, Brian was honored by the state of California with the Gold Medal of Valor, the highest honor in the state of California, presented to him by then Governor Pete Wilson. The CAL FIRE training facility created the Brian Zalner Road in Ione, California. Please welcome Brian's daughter, retired Sergeant Major Halsey Friedland, who will accept for her dad. Halsey?
All right. Is it getting warm in here? I really hate microphones. So first, to start off, wanted to say sorry for 2 individuals that couldn't make it here tonight. One being Tracy, Brian's sister, who is currently battling what I think is a hefty cold, and Ty, Brian's son, who got mandatory for Alameda. They would have loved to be here tonight, and to see all the faces and people that are here. So, on behalf of the entire Zalner family, we would like to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for countless of hours of fundraising, organizing, communicating, and all the behind-the-scenes work that go into putting an event like this together, recognizing the scholarships that we heard about earlier. Really a huge thank you, because ultimately you give us the opportunity to recognize outstanding individuals that we've either come across, we know of, or family members of ours. So thank you very much for putting this together. We get the opportunity to recognize individuals that have exemplified the vision of the district. To me, individuals did this by setting the example for others to follow, whether they're on the court, on the field, in the classroom, in their workplace, or through their community endeavors. My father, Brian, set that example. As you heard in his bio, he was not only a star athlete in multiple sports, he was a dedicated and successful firefighter who gave everything for his community. Ooh, excuse me. Growing up, I know, I didn't realize I would be so emotional. Okay, 1 second. Growing up, our dad was involved in our day-to-day. He helped us with countless hours of homework. He, of course, took us outside to throw a ball, practice our shot and swing, and teach us to fish. We were disciplined, engaged, we had dinners together, we built things together. Bottom line, he was engaged, and he set the example for us. And you can see that in, I would think, our accomplishments also. I believe his upbringing, his parents, who now have both children in the Hall of Fame, the coaches, the mentors, the teammates, all contributed to this amazing example. He was a man that made people feel seen, heard, and important. My brother and I are forever grateful for a ton of people that we'll possibly never even meet. We've benefited greatly from the man he became. There are people here tonight that were instrumental in teaching my dad how to be an example of right. We know if he were here, he would be his humble self, and he would recognize everyone else for their contributions. We know our dad is thankful for all of you've done for him, and all you will continue to do. The world is a better place because of the people that we're recognizing here tonight. People like our dad, who are extraordinary. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and don't stop setting the example.
Next inductee is deceased, but I want to read her introduction. And Florence Danforth Boyle. Florence graduated from Oroville High School in 1910. As no yearbook is available from that year, we only know from articles in the Oroville Mercury Register that she played in school duets and quartets and was a member of the 1908-09 Oroville High School basketball team that won a championship. Upon graduation, Florence became a charter member of the Gold of Ophir Parlor of the Native Daughters of the Golden West. This was to become a lifelong interest for her, and by age 26, held offices in Oroville and had been a distinguished deputy grand president. She went on to become grand president and traveled throughout the state, placing historical markers. She went to work in the Butte County Clerk's office in 1912, and 3 years later, was promoted to chief deputy. She was elected Butte County Recorder in 1918, just 7 years after women attained the right to vote, and she served a 4-year term. During her time in office, she married Frank Boyle, and a daughter, Betty, was born. This time, also saw her develop a keen interest in distance walking and was known as Hikin' Danny. She won nationwide attention in May of 1918 when she and a Canadian friend walked 31 miles in 7 hours and 24 minutes. Another walk saw her hike to Plumas Lake and back 32 miles round trip. She was declared champion long-distance walker of the state and was also a good sportsman, handling the rifle and shotgun and fishing tackle as well as her male companions. Florence devoted her life to community service, and one of her proudest accomplishments was founding the Pioneer Museum. The opening of the museum fulfilled her lifelong dream to create a facility dedicated to preserving the memories of pioneers who first settled in California and the Butte County area. She was also a noted author and wrote a column for the Mercury Register titled Old Days in Butte. The columns were compiled into a book by the Association for Northern California Historical Research. She also published 2 books. It Was Told to Me, a novel with historical background on the old suspension bridge at Bidwell Bar, A Breath of the Days of '49. In large part, Florence was responsible for the preservation of Butte County history through her efforts with the Native Daughters. We welcome Florence Danforth Boyle into the Oroville Union High School District Hall of Fame, class of 2022. And the next gentleman you will recognize because he was here last year accepting for his father, Tommy Brown, who arguably was one of the best athletes ever to grace any field or court or diamond in Oroville. Kevin Dwayne Brown. Nope, not yet, Kevin. You're going to lose your bets with all your buddies, pal. Be patient, my friend. Kevin graduated from Oroville High School in 1984. He was an outstanding athlete, excelling in basketball and baseball all 4 years. He earned all league honors in basketball 2 years. What? You're excited, but I'll tell you something, pal. I got the mic now, and I'm finishing. I can't beat you at anything else, but I can talk. Oh, now I lost my place. Won Most Valuable Player awards in every tournament he played in, and which he played. He was a Block O member for 4 years, homecoming king, and student body president as a senior. Following graduation, Kevin played in the All-Star game in Yuba City, where Sacramento City College coach took notice and was encouraged by the New York Mets scout to watch Kevin pitch, resulting in an invitation to play at Sac City. While there, Kevin was drafted twice during his freshman year, the first by the Kansas City Royals in the 4th round, and the next year in the 3rd round by the Philadelphia Phillies. He decided not to sign with either team and returned to school for his sophomore season to pursue his dream, being drafted in the 1st round. In 1986, his decision paid off when he was drafted in the 1st round by the Atlanta Braves. At age 20, Kevin pitched the minor leagues until 1990, when he was called up by the New York Mets, pitching in his first game. Later that year, he was traded to the Milwaukee Brewers, where he pitched for parts of 2 years before being claimed off waivers by the Seattle Mariners. Overall, Kevin's professional career saw him playing 6 seasons in the minor leagues and parts of 3 seasons in the majors with the Mets, the Brewers, and the Mariners. A career-ending injury to his left pitching shoulder brought his dream to an end in 1995. With his baseball playing days over and Kevin just 31 years old, his competitive juices were still flowing, and he needed a new focus. He turned to his Lord and Savior with a focus on winning souls for Christ, along with other public service endeavors. For 20 years now, he has been a pastor at his church and co-founder and CEO of People Working Together. He's definitely not forgotten his Oroville roots and takes immense pride in the fact that his single mom, Bobetta, took the time to be his Little League baseball coach. His dad was Tommy Brown, 2021 Oroville Union High School District Hall of Fame, and the brother of who will be inducted tonight following Kevin, Dr. Kendall Thomas. Please welcome Kevin Brown into the Oroville Union High School District Hall of Fame.
Good evening, everyone. I am not lost for words, but I am lost for words. Each of our guests on tonight, to all the inductees, to all of your families, to all of those that are part of the Brown family, you all have served as active ingredients that have helped me facilitate living out my God-intended purpose. And so from the depths of my heart, I want to say thank you to my mother. Thank you so much for the act of unselfish love. To my other mother, thank you also for demonstrating an act of unselfish love. And to all of my extended families, from coaches to childhood friends, to new acquired friends, you all have helped me beyond Oroville to reenact Oroville with the relationships. And so with all that being said, thank you, and I love you. And fellas, give me my money. They took all my money in blackjack.
Hey, here's the little thing that went on back there. He told me out there because I sent a note out about the 5 minutes, and Kevin comes back. I get a little email from him. He said 10 minutes, right? I shoot that thing back and I said no, 5. So I guess all his little buddies here tonight, and about probably 30% of the audience here tonight is here for Kevin. And he had a little bet, so you definitely won, Kevin. Anyway, thank you, my friend. And now his brother, Professor Kendall Thomas. Kendall graduated from Oroville High School in 3 years, earning his diploma in 1974. He was a member of CSF, the National Honor Society, and Top 10. He was awarded a Bank of America Scholarship, the National Achievement Scholarship, PG&E Scholarship, and an academic scholarship to Yale. He gave the commencement address at his graduation. At Oroville High, he played tennis, wrestled, and was active in numerous associated student body activities, including student council, key club, choir, drama, and won several speech contests. He was sophomore class president. Kendall was equally involved with his community as a pianist and musical director of 2 churches, a soloist and an organist at 2 others, and won first prize in the state and second in national rounds of the National Baptist Convention Speech Contest. He earned his BA degree cum laude in English literature and theater studies from Yale. After spending a year working in a community organization in Oroville, returned to Yale University where he received his Juris Doctor degree from Yale Law School. At age 26, Kendall was appointed assistant professor of law at Columbia University. 8 years later, he was awarded tenure and professor of law. 2 years after that, he was named the Nash Professor of Law, a chaired professorship he holds to this day. Kendall has been a visiting professor at prestigious universities in the United States and the world. Lectured in many countries, including France, the Czech Republic, South Africa, Germany, Haiti, England, Ireland, Italy, Russia, and the Netherlands. In November 2020, Kendall delivered the annual lecture on equality, diversity, and inclusion at the law faculty of the University of Oxford in England. Next month, he will return to Oxford to participate in a debate hosted by the Oxford Union, whose previous American guests have included 3 United States presidents. Kendall has published a number of books, countless articles, essays, and reviews, and was an inaugural Berlin Prize Fellow at the American Academy in Berlin, Germany. A resident of the historic Harlem neighborhood, Kendall has been very active in the civic and cultural life of New York City. Kendall is the proud brother of Pastor Kevin Brown, also a member of the Oroville Union High School District Hall of Fame, just inducted. Please welcome Dr. Kendall Thomas into the Oroville Union High School Hall of Fame, class of 2022.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Mr. Seahorn and Ms. Little, for this lovely medal. I told my brother that he had to come stand with me. He's, as you have just seen, the larger personality in the family, and I've learned over 65 years the truth of how to handle him. Our late grandmother, Catherine Harrison, used to quote Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. I was raised by that Bible verse, and when I learned that my brother and I were being invited to be inductees this year, my first thought, of course, went to my grandmother and grandfather, Reverend P.C. Harrison, Mrs. Catherine Harrison, whom I so wish could be here. They, along with my mother, Babetta Brown, were my first teachers, as was the incredible community of adults who were members of the church that my grandfather pastored here in Oroville, Ora Vista Baptist Church. You saw a Sunday school picture with a lot of folks, some of whom may actually be here. We learned in that Sunday school before any of us ever attended an Oroville school. And the lessons we learned in that community have stayed with me my entire life. I just want to shout out, mindful that I have only 5 minutes, the names of some of the people who left such a lasting imprint on me when I was a student here at Oroville High School. I received a superb education. I was telling someone earlier that when I got to Yale, I was a little anxious about whether or not I could compete with all these kids who'd gone to these fancy boarding schools, you know, a little boy from Oroville, California. And I should not have worried because under the tutelage of people like my dear teacher, Jack Kemper, Ron Locke, Jim Gross, my Latin teacher, Bob Young, whom I love dearly, and who really was like another grandfather to me. He taught me the art of public speaking, and I've carried the lessons that he taught me with me throughout my life. And I had wonderful music teachers, and I just want to acknowledge one of them, one of whom is still alive today, Wilma Stevens Hill, who taught me ta, ta, ti, ti, ta, ti, 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 ta, 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 triple ti. I've carried that with me and taught other children that. So it's so wonderful to see all of you. Oroville has been in my heart everywhere I have gone on the face of this planet. We can be proud of the educational legacy of the Oroville Union High School District. I was looking at the names of some of the previous honorees, And I feel so honored to be part of such distinguished company. And I'm grateful to you all for being here tonight and helping my brother and me make such precious memories. Thank you so much. My grandmother would say, while she's waiting, sing a little bit. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
You know what Kevin wanted me to ask you? He says, who's the largest personality? Okay, now we're going to have drawing, raffle drawing number 1. Who's coming up?
This is for the first basket that had the, oh no, it's not, it's the second one. The Al Walsh print, the Houston Family Vineyard basket, the Lundberg rice basket, Butte View olive oil, and local donations. And the number is 113759. Way back in the back. I can't see who it is. I'm not tall enough. Chuck, is that Chuck? Chuck Reynolds? I believe that's Chuck Reynolds. No, Kevin, it's not you.
Okay, thanks. Congratulations, Chuck. Next, our second deceased member, Halsya Eulalia Bauer. Halsey was born in 1876 in a small Georgia town to a family with many challenges. Her sister and both parents died when she was a young girl, and she grew up with her grandmother and stepfather's family. She never married and pursued a career as a teacher, winning scholarship to a prominent teachers college. She taught in the southwestern United States in private academies, elementary schools, high schools, and colleges, receiving high praise at each. In 1913, she trained at the Boston School of Expression. Expression was the term used for a form of state monologue performance that was popular before movies. She then offered private lessons and went on the road as a performer. In 1914, she moved to the young state of Oklahoma, taught classes in expression with 2 colleagues, and founded the Blackwell College of Fine Arts. After relocation to California and earning her AB degree in English from USC and her state teaching certificate, she joined a 10-person faculty at Oroville High School in 1919 as an English teacher and the school's very first librarian. She remained at Oroville High until 1941, when at age 65, she was forced to retire. She then got a teaching job in Nevada in a tiny town where she taught 12 students in a 2-room building. The classroom was one room, her residence was the other room. During that time, at OHS, she managed to double the library holdings and taught classes in library science, training young girls in one of the few careers available to them at the time. She directed student plays, hosted students in her apartment for afternoon teas, hosted picnics in the country, and led students on moonlight hikes to the Feather River Sandbar. In 1922, she was one of only 2 people who had the school yearbook, the Alpha, dedicated to her. Halsey's love of public performance made her a well-known presence in Oroville and brought credit to Oroville High. During her 22 years at the school, her name appeared in the Mercury Register more than 300 times. Nick Cross, Miss Bauer's cousin, lives in Santa Maria and was going to be here tonight, but he couldn't make it, and he sent remarks which he asked that I share with you. Words of appreciation by Nick Cross. This is a wonderful honor for Halsey Bauer, and speaking for her family, I'd like to express her deep gratitude, our deep gratitude. We thank the selection committee, board of trustees, and Superintendent Willenberg. Very special thanks go to the current librarian, Bill McCutcheon, who suggested nominating Halsey Bauer, and thanks to Paula Blaney and Debbie Peacock for their hard work and assistance. Halsey's cousin, John Hogel, and Bruce Slater kindly provided the photos shown tonight. Until a few years ago, my family had only the barest details of the life of Halsey Bauer. When the internet and Google searches became available, her unique name made it easy to discover her full history. Her difficult early life in the Deep South, her schools in the northern cities, her stage performances, and her gradual move westward eventually put down roots in Oroville, then with only 3,000 people. For more than 2 decades, Halsey was the librarian, taught English, directed plays, mentored students, and gave many public performances. But in addition to her services to the school, she gave students something that was not and easy to measure. By her early life experiences of travel and study, and her ongoing restlessness to see the world, and her love of literature and art, she showed her students there was a wider world than they could dream of and experience. The news story from the Mercury Register this news story captures a moment of expression about her life and affection that her students felt for her, her love of travel, and her courage to travel far as a solitary woman. It takes place in June 1929 as the school term ends and Halsey is leaving to spend summer traveling and studying in Europe. The article is entitled, "Friends Gather at Train to Wish Miss Bauer Bon Voyage." Miss Halsey Bauer of the Oroville Union High School faculty departed after the close of the school for a tour of European countries and a short summer course at Oxford University. A large group of students escorted her to the train, and the high school band, which was there to welcome the returning YMCA boys, played rousing numbers and a way of expressing their wishes for a happy vacation and a safe return. Before the train left, each one stepped up to shake hands with the traveler and say au revoir. Thank you again for honoring Halsey Bauer. Next inductee, Dr. David Daly. David graduated from Las Plumas High School in 1975. He was a lifetime member of the California Scholastic Federation, a National Merit Scholar, Boy State Representative, the Bank of America Outstanding Senior, and Top 10 Scholar all 4 years. In addition to his academic honors, Dave was very active in student body, serving as ASB Vice President, Future Farmers of America President, and Superior Region FFA President, Vice President, and President. Honors were also awarded in abundance as he won public speaking and parliamentary procedure, regional and state awards, and the livestock judging team state and national awards. Following graduation, Dave attended Chico State University, earning his Bachelor of Science degree, cum laude, then to Colorado State University, earning his Master of Science and PhD with honors in animal science. Accolades continued as he was named Outstanding Senior in the College of Agriculture at Chico State national honors in the livestock judging team there, and coached one of the most successful livestock judging teams in the history of Colorado State. Dave is a fifth-generation Butte County cattleman with ranches on private and public land in Butte and Plumas counties. His university career started in 1984, serving as assistant professor at Fresno State, 6 years later as professor in animal science at Chico State. He is currently professor emeritus, College of Agriculture, and director of the university farm at Chico State. Throughout his distinguished career, Dave has been honored, widely published, and given presentations on agriculture, livestock, food production, and ranching, both nationally and internationally. In 2001, he was recognized by the Chamber of Commerce as the California Livestock Man of the Year. Following the bear fire of 2020, Dave authored the most widely read article ever published in the Oroville Mercury Register, Chico Enterprise Record, and just recently wrote a follow-up to that article. Dave rode on the last cow drive through the bottom of Lake Oroville across the Enterprise Bridge in 1964 at age 6. All three of Dave's children are directly or indirectly involved in the cattle business, and his son Rob was just hired to teach in the ag department at Las Plumas High School. Please welcome Dave Daly into the United Oroville High School Hall of Fame, class of 2022.
Now I can put my hat back on and stop the glare to the back of the room. I have not seen many of you. Dr. Thomas, it was 50 years ago when we graduated from Central, believe it or not. And what I've noticed is most of the men have lost their hair and got fatter, and the women look exactly the same. Congratulations. And I'm obviously running for something, or I wouldn't have said that. This is really remarkable, and I really enjoy it. It's so fun to see what the community has done, but I think each one of us would say it's not about us. And I think you've heard that in the previous speakers. It's about the community. And it makes such a difference to have that support. And I know I'm the one who worried about time, but I would be remiss in not telling you that there's a 1948 graduate of Oroville High School in the room who's having a birthday tonight. Happens to be my mom, 92. Stand up. She will probably not forgive me for that, but I will tell you, 2 years ago, we tried to do the 90th birthday. COVID happened. Last year was still COVID. And now this year, I don't have to buy you dinner because you're already here. So it worked out extremely well. But again, I don't think this is about us as individuals. It's about what the community's done for us. As a very shy kid from the mountains, I think most of us forget. We think Oroville, and we forget about Feather Falls and Berry Creek and Palermo and Bangor and all those little feeder schools. My sister was in the first class, so started at Las Plumas High School. My aunt graduated from Oroville in 39, my dad in 41, my uncles in 43. There's a long-term commitment, and then all my kids and many of my nephews and nieces at Las Plumas High School. And all I can remember is the quality of the instruction. We hear a lot of complaints about education. We hear a lot of complaints about how it's not doing well, and I think sometimes we focus on that rather than the kind of people we interacted with. The Norm McKenzie's in my case, the Joe Highs, the Mr. Greens. If you think about some of those teachers that made it direct impact. And in my case, Mr. Cliff Shear, an ag teacher, who told me to join FFA, and it's like, that's for city kids. I live on a ranch. That's the kind of background I had. I thought, why would I want to do that? And what a difference it made in terms of that leadership opportunity and that exposure. And that works through generations. And Andrea Early, one of my students at Chico, now an instructor and part of our family, the earliest part of our family, they really make a difference in students' lives. And we tend to forget that. I do know in high school, if you were taking challenging courses, you remember Mrs. Sliger, anybody remember in math? Before we had college advisors and counselors, she's tough, right? It's like we're trying to solve for one unknown. She wants to talk about two. It's like, come on, this is a little tough. So if it got hard, we'd just say, would you tell us about how to get admitted to college? That took up 30 minutes while she explained the SAT test. It got us through some things. But as we think about what we've done and what we've done with the community, I really do think it is something that we should be proud of in terms of the kinds of instruction we receive. I know Kendall said that well. I think there's this thing that, education's really in trouble. I don't buy it. All of us can remember a teacher that made a difference in our lives. And yes, there's some that are better than others, just like all of life. But I think all of them come with the intent of trying to do the best they can for the people they serve. And it makes a difference to me. I tend not to read because I don't have my glasses, but I thought about that as we think about, maybe I have glasses, maybe I don't. I do. I'm right at my 5, I'm stopping, I saw the clock. Our youth love luxury. They have bad manners, they despise authority, they show disrespect for their elders, and they love to chatter instead of exercise. Young people are now tyrants, not the servants of their household. They no longer rise when their elders enter the room. They contradict their parents, they chatter before company, they gobble up food, and they terrorize their teachers. Who wrote it? Socrates, 399 BC. So for those of you who wonder, every generation complains about the next. We've been doing it for 2,500 years, and we're fine. And I think we'll continue to be fine. I'm an optimist about education. I'm an optimist about how teachers can make an impact. I don't buy the negativity because it doesn't take me anywhere. We're here to connect with young people. So many of you have done that so well. And thank you for this honor. Again, not about us, but what an impressive group. And I'm really fortunate to be part of it. So thank you very much.
Whoa, time for raffle number 2.
Okay, number 2 is the tailgate party, wagon wheel market basket, shirts from LP and Oroville with hats, local products, lots of donations. It's a huge package. And the number is 113600. In the back. Congratulations. He's happy.
Congratulations. Thank you. Again, thanks to everyone who bought a raffle ticket. Very, can't tell you how much appreciated. Christopher Dolder. Christopher graduated from Oroville High School in 1979. Was a member of the California Scholastic Federation all 4 years, National Honor Society for his last 3 years. He played football, tennis as a freshman, and competed in track and long jump. Competed in track as a long and triple jumper his last 3 years, and was a 4-year member of Block O. I remember Christopher well because I announced his track meets. It was fun. Upon graduation from Oroville High, Christopher attended the University of California, Berkeley on a full scholarship. He took leave of absence from UC Berkeley after his freshman year to attend Butte College, where he took classes in theater and business law, competed in the triple jump, and performed for Butte College Theater Group while making the honors list with distinction. He returned to Cal his junior year, where he took theater and dance classes and was cast in the Bay Area Repertory Dance Company. He toured with the company throughout California and Nevada and the United Kingdom. While a student at Cal, he received awards for excellence in dance, distinguished theatrical talent, and the departmental citation, the department's highest honor. He then moved to New York City to train in the Martha Graham School of Contemporary Dance and was promoted to the main company touring the world. Oh, okay. I thought, what did I say? And was promoted to the main company, touring the world for 5 years. He then formed his own company, Christopher Dolder and Friends, and dance partner Ann Westwick, his future wife, and returned to California. He attended graduate school at Mills College, where he earned his Master of Fine Arts while teaching at Cal. In 2009, he became assistant professor of the Division of Dance at the Meadows School of Arts, Southern Methodist University in Dallas, Texas, and is regarded as one of the leading dance programs in the nation. He was promoted to associate professor with tenure in 2015 and became chair of the division in 2019, a position he holds today. Christopher is currently in the midst of a 4-month research leave that will take him to 12 different countries. He told me 2 days ago he was in Athens, Greece. We thank Christopher for taking time to be with us this evening and receive the honor. Please welcome Christopher Dolder into the Oroville Union High School District Hall of Fame, class of 2022.
Sorry about that, Chris.
It's okay.
It won't open either.
I got
Okay,
time.
I got it.
As long as,
I got it.
as long as it's not
I
part of
got
my 5 minutes, right?
No, it's not part of your 5 minutes. It hasn't started yet. You're good to go. Thank you.
Very good. Well, can you hear me? Man, I have performed in theaters, around the world, performed for thousands of people, and I tell you right now, I'm more nervous right now than I ever was in any one of those shows. Trying to breathe. And there's a reason for that. I am incredibly proud of where I'm from. And I've talked about Oroville my entire life because people are like, what's Oroville? Where's Oroville? What is that? And I said, it's my hometown. And everything that I am was from here. When people say, well, how does a guy from Oroville become a dancer? What does Oroville have to do with being a dancer? And to me, it has everything to do with it. You need to have strength. You need to have resiliency. You need to work with your community. You need to communicate well. You need to be a team player. Diligence, every single thing that I learned here in this town has made me successful. I danced with some of the most exotic people on the planet, and I wasn't Mr. Exotic. I was the plain, all-American boy who could do anything. And like, you want me to lift that? I'll lift that. Throw against the wall? I'll do that. And that all came from how I was raised here and the people who raised me. I want to talk quickly about a few of the different people. I'm going to talk about the Michelle Leclerc, Danielle Leclerc Klein, and the Leclerc family. On Saturdays, I get my chores done. My mom, single mom, my dad lived in Chico, gives our chores, we do our chores. I go to Shell's house, and his dad gave him a billion chores. So I would help him. And what I learned is to help with a friend, you could have a great deal of fun, and you'd get your work done, and then you would go play. And our play was going down to the Feather River and spending literally 10 hours a day at the Feather River. I don't know if you ever caught crawdads. I don't even know how I did it, but I can do it. Has anybody ever caught blue-belly lizards? Hardest thing in the world to do. I can't even imagine doing it now, but we do it all the time. So I think that's patience, diligence, quickness, speed, whatnot. So I thank that family for helping me with my work ethic. Then I work on my best friend on the planet, Frankie Balf. Frankie is the most competitive person I've ever met in my life, but he never defeated you. He just simply won. So when you played with Frankie, he'd win, and you had a great time, and you didn't ever felt defeated. You're like, well, next time, Frankie, next time. So that really has helped me my entire life, and for him, I'm forever grateful, and to Carol, his wife. Then I move on to my sister. Parents were divorced, and my mom was working 2 jobs, and Pam was my sister mom. And so she did the cooking, she did the training and whichever. So she was diligent, and she was dedicated, and she made me who I was. Like, I answered to my sister, and I'm so thankful for her to this day. Again, that was another trait that helped me out. That leads to my parents. Both my parents taught me something. If you don't feel good about who you are, then become better. If you want to be somebody else, be somebody else. My mother was a bank teller, and she went back to school, and she became an art technician and a ceramicist and a photo editor, so she reinvented herself. And that gave me the example of you can do anything at any age. My father, same thing. He went back and became a child, family, and marriage counselor for 30 years. That didn't work out because it was getting too much for him, so he decided to sell life insurance to simply have money to help the family. So I learned from people who did whatever it took to be successful, and it was about community, it was about family, it was about collaboration, and it was literally about love. And for me, I'm so thankful to everyone in this room. I see so many faces that I recognize, and I'm so thankful to everyone sitting at this table right here. And all I can say is thank you very much. I'm incredibly, incredibly honored.
And now Dean wants to take our pictures. Okay.
Well, sitting listening to the remarks so far, it's almost every teacher that's been mentioned, not all of them, but a whole bunch of them. You look on that Hall of Fame list, they're all Hall of Famers. Dr. Michelle Stevens. Michelle graduated from Las Plumas High School in 1972, was graduation speaker, girl state representative, and named to Who's Who among American seniors. Numerous academic awards came her way. Among them were State of California and California Scholastic Federation scholarships to the University of Pacific, 2 Bank of America awards, the Voice of Democracy Speech Award, the American Youth Foundation Leadership Award, and the Fellows Club of Oroville Top 10. She was also very active in music as a member of the school band and receiving Las Plumas Music Award, Band and Outstanding Musician, Northern California Honor Band, and All-State Honor Band. Michelle attended the University of Pacific and then graduated to Humboldt State, receiving a special major bachelor's degree in environmental journalism, a combined major of journalism and botany. She then earned her MA degree from the University of Wisconsin and her PhD degree from UC Davis. She was a pioneer in the wetlands field and helped field test the Wetlands Delineation Manual, created wetland education programs, and is still involved in the Wonder of Wetlands project for middle school children. Michelle worked for Eden Again, a nonprofit working in restoration of the Mesopotamian marshes in Iraq. While the Middle East, she was keynote speaker in Iraq and attended conferences in Turkey, Jordan, and Kuwait. She began her current position in 2007 as the Environmental Studies Department at Sacramento State, where she is a full professor. Throughout her distinguished career, Michelle has been widely published and honored, authoring numerous publications, and in 2021 was named Environmentalist of the Year by the Environmental Council of Sacramento. Michelle's mother, Veda Stevens, many of you probably know, was a longtime and highly respected teacher in Oroville who passed away in December of 2021. It was on a college marine biology field trip with her mom that influenced Michelle to pursue her wetlands career. Please welcome Dr. Michelle Stevens into the Oroville Union High School Hall of Fame, class of 2022.
Thank you for this honor today. This is the last thing I can do for my mother. She nominated me for this award, and Judy's kind of standing in as my surrogate mom, and our family friends, Larry and Linda Bannon. My aunt is here. I have been a long ways from Oroville, but the last 2 years taking care of my parents on hospice, I've loved this rural environment, the bobcats and coyotes and deer and things on the walks, But above all, I don't think we would do something like this in Sacramento, the Oroville Hall of Fame, to honor our own, to honor all of us from all walks of life. David Daly, I was best friends with his sister, Susan Daly, when I grew up in high school. One Christmas, my brother almost died in an automobile accident, and the Dalys took me in and took care of me while my mom and dad were taking care of my brother in emergency in the hospital. One person I've never thanked is Mr. Perry in English. He went so far above and beyond. At that time, there wasn't cell phones and pictures, so he hand took photographs of Ode to a Skylark, and we made this whole poem and almost like a video, and he just went out of his way for me, which I really appreciated. I was wishing Cliff Thompson would be here tonight. He was my worthy adversary. We were always doing speeches, and he'd win one, and I'd win one, and we kind of brought out the best of each other, and he was just such a handsome major domo. I really loved the marching band. I'm thinking how much I appreciate my family. I'm from a very rural, 7 miles outside Oroville, and my mom and dad really reached deep to buy me my first clarinet, to take me to Chico for clarinet lessons, to help me out through college, and I really appreciate that. My father passed away two weeks ago. And one thing I love teaching. I totally agree with David. I am so blessed to have all these wonderful young people in my life, and they're the best. They're just the best. And I stand here as a role model for women. When I graduated in 1972, there was no Title IX. There was no particular women's sports at Las Plumas. Look at women now in sports. When I went to Humboldt, or when I went to the University of Wisconsin, there were no tenured women. The women were all lecturers. When I went back and interviewed with my doctorate, half of the tenured faculty were women, and at this time at my university, there's no glass ceiling, maybe the president, but all the deans, and it's just so much more equitable than it ever was, and our horizons in all the fields are so much greater. I do really appreciate having this rural roots and the community and the friends that are still friends from my parents. You just don't find that in other parts of the country, and it's a real homecoming, and I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Okay, raffle time.
It gets taller every time I get it. Okay, this is for the quilt. I have to give a little plug. We don't always plug Lonnie Fredericks, who's on our committee. And she makes a quilt every year. Every year it's different. Every year it has a special little patch on the back that you don't see, obviously, beforehand, that says that this is this year, 2022, Hall of Fame. And it's designed and it's made by her, and she donates one every year. So the number is... The number is 113, oh my word, 113600. Yeah, bam. What are the odds? And the other odd is that Myron Openshaw didn't win anything, and he always wins. He usually walks out with 2. Okay, so I guess at this time, we're also going to do the door prize. which is all of the numbers from all 3 bags go in one. We're going to shake them up, and some couple will get tickets to next year's dinner. Okay, he's not winning this one. The number is 113764. There in the middle. Just want to say before he gets back up here, Ray takes over. So I just want to say that all of the donations that you make go to help pay for the inductees to come to tonight. It helps pay for the tiles that we put down at Harrison Stadium, and it helps pay for all of the scholarships. So thank you so much.
And thank you, Nancy. And we're going to conclude with a son and mother induction. Son is first, Anthony Allen Walker. Anthony graduated from Las Plumas High School in 1979, played football, basketball, ran track all 4 years, and a Block LP member each of those years. On campus, he was a member of the Black Student Union, and off campus belonged to the Oroville JCs. Upon graduation, Anthony enlisted in the United States Army and was on worldwide active duty as a non-commissioned officer for 12 years. During this time, he played in the European American Football League as a member of the Mannheim Redskins, the Heidelberg Knights, and the Wiesbaden Flyers. While in the Army, he was an operating room assistant and orthopedic tech in Germany. He also served as a physician's assistant, medical surgical nurse, and licensed practical nurse at Fairchild Air Force Base in Spokane, Washington. While serving his country, Anthony was a highly decorated, receiving the Hazardous Duty Award 3 times, the Good Conduct and Good Achievement Award twice, the Kuwait Liberation Medal, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and the Meritorious Unit Commendation, Iraq, among other awards. Anthony received his Associate Arts degrees in Applied Sciences, his Bachelor of Clinical Health Sciences from University of Washington, and his Master of Physician's Assistant Sciences from the University of Nebraska Medical Center. During his post-military career, he served as supervisory licensed practical nurse for the Department of the Air Force and physician's assistant for the Department of Justice in various locations in the nation. Currently, Anthony serves as medical consultant, Department of Veteran Affairs for the Southern Nevada Veterans Health Administration in Las Vegas, Nevada. Anthony is the son and youngest child of Sally Childs Walker, also a member of the Oroville Union High School, or will be, class of Hall of Fame class of 2022. I had the pleasure of teaching this student at Central School. It is my pleasure. Please welcome Anthony Walker, Oroville Union High School District Hall of Fame, class of 2022.
Well, I thank you. I am honored humbled. Growing up here in Oroville, youngest of 5. To a mom that really worked hard at giving us direction. But it wasn't just her. It was a community. I look out, I see people that I remember. It was teachers, it was coaches, my friends' dads. I didn't grow up with having a dad. I didn't grow up with having a huge role model. But I looked at those men around me. One of those men was Mr. Ray Seahorn. I've taken Oroville with me in a lot of things that I've done in my life. There's been many times I've pinched myself, like this little black kid from Oroville, doing this. I'm meeting people that you read about, see in TV, you see movies about these people. I'm practicing medicine. I too grew up catching bluebelly lizards, crawdads, right? Daddy long-legged spiders. If you're really fast, you can catch a fly. So I never once thought that I would ever be this person that standing before you, being honored in just what I have deemed just my life, just me trying to be my best. So I'm pinching myself right now, even standing up here before you. My wife, lovely wife, she had asked me to come from the heart. And I hope that I did that because my heart has been honed, has been raised, has been nurtured by many. And I can feel the love in this room. I appreciate every single one of you. Again, I thank you for this honor. Mr. Seahorn, I wasn't going to do this at first, but once you and I start talking, if a child from Oroville can see this, I hope they're inspired that as they're catching those bluebelly lizards, those daddy long legs, too can do this.
Next, better wait till Anthony sits down. He may fall down. His mom, Sally Childs Walker Gladier. Sally graduated from Oroville High School in 1955. Was a member of CSF as a junior and a senior. He was active in the Girls Athletic Association, better known as GAA, for 3 years, and a member of the Pep Club, the Mixed Chorus, the Choir, and the Lyre Club. After attending Yuba College, Sally married a member of the United States Army and moved to Colorado Springs. Her husband was then deployed to Germany, and she and her 2 children moved to South Carolina, where her husband had family. As hospitals there were segregated, and Sally did not want to give birth to her child in a segregated hospital, she and her children boarded the train for Oroville, and her 3rd child was born at County Hospital 3 days after their arrival. Later that fall, Sally and her 3 children returned to Germany, where her 4th child was born. 2 years later, they lost their government housing, but could not leave until after her 5th child, Anthony, was born. In November 1961, Sally and her 5 children boarded a military transport ship, made the 12-day journey across the Atlantic, docking in New York without a penny to her name. She went to the Red Cross and was issued a plane ticket for San Francisco, then transferring to a Greyhound bus to Oroville. Her sister provided housing for her. She immediately started looking for work, and when at a Little League game, was offered a job in the concession stand by then Sheriff Larry Gillick. A short time later, Sheriff Gillick told her he was planning on hiring some female deputies. He suggested that she take the test, which she did and successfully passed. She enrolled at the Oroville Police Academy, graduated first in her class, and gave the commencement address. She was then sworn in as the first ever African American law enforcement officer in Butte County and the first ever female African American officer north of Sacramento to the Oregon border. In 1970, she was elected Butte County Peace Officer of the Year, following a distinguished 30-year career as a deputy sheriff. She retired in 1992. Sally is the mother of Anthony Walker, her youngest child, also a 2022 Hall of Fame inductee tonight. Please welcome Sally Childs Walker, Glaudier, into the Oroville High School Hall of Fame.
So good to see all of you this evening. This is a very humbling occasion. And to me, it brings many memories back to me, especially going to Oroville High School. I had really great teachers, and I know that you remember some of them. Jim Gross, of course, my Latin teacher. You know, sometimes I wonder, after I got into that class, I wonder why in the world did you choose to take Latin? And so, and you know, but I got a C in the class, and I was so happy with that C. I really was. And I appreciate it. Mr. Hughes, the history teacher, I learned so much about history. I really enjoy reading, and I really enjoy history. And there was another one, Mrs. Holland. If you remember Mrs. Holland, yeah, she was great. That's where I learned my secretarial skills. And she was a good teacher, very good, very straight-laced, but she was a very good teacher. Yeah, I enjoyed her. But, you know, going to Oroville High School, I learned before going there. And what I wanted to mention, first of all, was that I give all glory to God. Because without him, I wouldn't be here. And growing up, even going to school, the Feather River Adventist School, one of my daughters, Margaret, she went there. Yeah. I went to school in Gridley before that, long time. But what I learned was to be a very resolute person, determined. And when I grew up, then I have all my kids, and I was working at this time. And I have 5 of them. They're all in separate schools. And I had to get lunch to them because, sometimes the money would run out. And at the end of the month, you get paid. Then I had to go home. I had to run. I could cash my check. I had to go to the store, buy the stuff for lunches, make the lunches in the car. And then I run to these 5 schools and give them their lunches and then get back to work, all within an hour. You see, but I have 5 children, and I wanted them to succeed, and I did the best I could to help them do that. And so anyway, I did work. I enjoyed my work. And Larry Gillick, I'm sure a lot of you remember Larry Gillick. He was a man above men. And he gave me the opportunity, and I took it, and I became a deputy sheriff. And that was back in the day. And then I retired, and I've enjoyed retirement, even though I still work. I still work. Because I feel like, you got to keep moving. Got to keep moving. If you don't move it, you lose it. And so, yeah. So, I also enjoyed my time on top of Mount Whitney. I climbed Mount Whitney. And my friend Sandy Becker, she climbed Mount Whitney also several times. I've only done it once because I felt like, and sometimes people ask me, are you going to do it again? I said, well, no. I've already done it once, so why would I do it again? But she does it all the time, But the thing about that is it was very unique because when I climbed Mount Whitney, I had an aneurysm on my brain, although I didn't know it. And if she had known that, she would not have allowed me to climb that mountain with her. I didn't know it. But, God took care of it. I thank him for that. So it was a wonderful trip. I enjoyed it very much. But I just wanted to say about the things in Oroville, the community here. I grew up here, and I learned many things. How to be strong in adversities, to be resilient, stand for what you believe, and to follow God. I love my Lord, and I choose to follow him. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Could we have all class of 22 just by yourselves, just stand up, please. Stay standing, stay standing, stay standing, stay standing, please. Ladies and gentlemen, the Oroville Union High School District Hall of Fame, class of 2020. 22. You have all achieved. You have all served. You have all received. And you have given back. You have each earned well-deserved recognition, awards, citations, decorations, and been highly honored during your life. Tonight, the Oroville Union High School District has bestowed on you its highest honor by inducting you into its Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame is for life, and you will forever now be known as Hall of Famers. Our warmest congratulations to each of you. And now, some of you who were in this room back in 2011 for our third ceremony, you remember little Bobby Richter jumping up and leading a cheer for Oroville. Well, tonight, our district attorney and Hall of Famer, Mike Ramsey, and his dedicated helper, Paula Felipe. Where are you, Paula? And then after this, we got one more little thing. But right now, it's time for the Oroville Cheer.
Come on up, Paula. As Paula is getting this ready, there has been a bit of a tradition over the years of this ceremony of misspelling Oroville. But Paula, who was the last person to misspell Oroville last year, has made sure that this won't happen again. But we won't mention someone's name over here that also misspelled Oroville, but we got her? All righty. Now, understand, this cheer for Oroville is not a cheer for Oroville High School. This is a cheer for a absolutely remarkable community. A community that produces the people that you have seen here tonight and other times. There's got to be something about the alignment of the stars, God's grace, whatever that kind of shines upon this community to make these extraordinary people. They may not be good spellers, but by gosh, they are the people. So, all right, are we ready? We're ready. Okay, let's do it. Now, everybody, this is back and forth. Remember this now. Everybody participates. Here we go. Give me an O. Give me an R. Give me an O. Give me a V. Give me an I. Give me an L. Give me another L. Give me an E. What's that spell? What's that spell? What's that spell?
That was great. Okay, a few thank yous before we wrap up. Just a few thank yous before we quit. Committee members, Tom Aldridge, Lonnie Frederick, Nancy Gilbert, Scott Johnson, Doug Kalin, Barbara Little, Judy McInturf, Nancy Negri, Bob Zalner. Committee, great. Huge thank you also. In your program, business sponsors, personal donors, and placemat program scholarship donors. All donors for the raffle. Dean Gurr, our photographer. Lynn Eves, Feather Falls Casino. Kira Gottsman, Oroville Mercury Register. Paula Blaney, Administrative Secretary to our Hall of Fame. We always welcome nominations. Look on our webpage. We're always open for you finding people for us. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Huh?